My fellow Georgians, this is E. Thompson, candidate for governor. I want to talk with you for a moment about public schools. The recent Supreme Court decision has caused much concern in our state. I want you to know exactly what my position is on this issue. I am for separate schools for the races at all costs. Thank you.
At the center of Mississippi's struggle for power was the black vote. In some counties, blacks outnumbered whites 4-1. In 1962, in many counties, no blacks were registered. This mass political awakening reminded segregationists of the years following the Civil War, a time when blacks had been elected to high political office.
We have had experience in the past with Negro political domination. It was known as the Reconstruction. There are some who call this present attempt to build up political power through the mass registration of unqualified Negro voters the second Reconstruction.
I don't want the Negro as I have known him and contacted him during my lifetime as a class to control the making of the law that controls me, to control the government under which I live.
Would you feel better then if there were some legal means of keeping all Negroes off the rolls?
I'd feel better, and I think this country would be better off if all Negroes were removed from it, because I think it is a potential source of racial strife.
We agree with the President that the Commission of the City of Albany should discuss local problems with local Negroes in an effort to reach local solutions. That has been and is now the policy of the City of Albany. But that policy does not embrace outside agitators, including Martin Luther King and his coterie of troublemakers who jump about the South like so many fleas on a hot griddle and cause racial rashes where none have heretofore existed. It is our policy never to discuss problems or to negotiate with people who have utter contempt for our local ordinances, our state statutes, and restraining orders issued by the federal courts.
The only way we can win this fight is to defeat the enemy, to destroy the enemy before the enemy destroys us.
There is nothing in the United States Constitution to declare that white and colored children must attend the same public schools.
In 1954, the Citizens Council was established in the Delta, the northwest section of the state, where blacks outnumbered whites. The council's purpose, to preserve white political power by opposing integration.
I wish I was in Dixie, AK, and shit wouldn't have been bad in the 60s. No way, no way.
I shall march in this campaign under the flag of states' rights, preservation of our great institutions, traditions, and customs. I shall wage unrelentless war upon those who would destroy our Georgia way of life.
Some attempting to register had even been murdered to stop black political activity.
I'll use axe handles, I'll use guns, I'll use paint, I'll use my fists, I'll use my customers, I'll use my employees, I'll use anything at my disposal. This property belongs to me, my wife, and my children. It doesn't belong to anybody else. I'll throw out a white one or a black one or a red-headed one or a bald-headed one. It doesn't make any difference.
Today it's rather deserted, but it was the scene of tremendous free-for-all only a few days ago between Negroes and whites.
I think people felt that the Democratic Party would actually embrace them. I think there was a lack of real understanding of the depth to which the local Southern politicians were entwined in the Democratic Party, and that there would be a real reluctance on the part of the National Democratic Party leadership to take in black people at the expense of these Southern politicians.
Medgar Evers had been shot in the back by a single round from a high-powered rifle. The one fingerprint found on the weapon belonged to Byron de la Beckwith, a member of the Citizens Council in Greenwood, Mississippi. Medgar Evers, 37 years old, died 1 hour later.
This is the Citizens Council Forum, the American viewpoint with a Southern accent.
The beach is pumped in with government money, and public taxes maintain it. This leads to the controversy wherein the Negroes feel that they have the same right as anyone else to use the beach.
I don't like it.
Why not?
I don't like a nigger. I wish they'd kill them all.
I'm sure that you will not fail to enact an appropriate state sovereignty bill, which will enable us during the next 2 years to maintain a successful fight for preserving the separation of the races in this state.
All of his life, but they laid Medgar Evers in his grave.
I didn't think I was being watched. I was being watched. They were there till I went to bed at night.
As in every community in Mississippi, there is segregation of the races. Drinking fountains are segregated. Restrooms are segregated. Just as the pattern of segregation is evident in Forest, so too is the real interest both races have in each other's welfare.
In 1964, the state of Mississippi called it an invasion. Civil rights workers called it Freedom Summer. To change Mississippi and the country, they would risk beatings, arrests, and their lives.
The clean, modern bus station in Jackson, Mississippi. The battle lines are drawn, the defenses complete. The bus station, dwarfed by the downtown skyscrapers of Jackson, is guarded outwardly by the entire police force of the city. There are others around the corner. Plainclothes deputies wait. Just out of sight, troops are standing, the hot southern sun glinting on their fixed bayonets. For Jackson, Mississippi, the enemy is at the gates. The hour has come. The invaders are 14 Negro and white passengers on an inbound bus.
The racial integrity of our people is not for sale on the political auction block.
The focal point for much of the tension here in Biloxi centers around the activities of a Dr. Gilbert Mason, a Negro physician who has been trying to lead his people down to the beaches to bathe.
Today, I have stood where once Jefferson Davis stood and took an oath to my people. It is very appropriate that from this cradle of the Confederacy, this very heart of the great Anglo-Saxon Southland, that today we sound the drum for freedom, as have our generation of forebears before us done time and again down through history. Let us rise to the call of freedom-loving blood that is in us, and send our answer to the tyranny that clanks its chains upon the South.
We must identify the traitors in our midst. We must eliminate the cowards from our front line.
It is our privilege to live in a land as great as these United States. The greatness, power, and prestige of our nation has come from within, from our own people.
Boy, and you better pray good.
How did you know I love trains?
Oh, it's not a train, Mama. It's our new mobile home. And I sleep in the other room. We all have our own rooms this time. Me, you, and Cotton. And Crackers has that nice little shed right out back, so he can have his friends in whenever he likes without waking us up. Isn't it wonderful?
Oh, yeah!
Lee! We've got to help General Lee! Come on! Let's get those damn Yankees!
For years, most blacks in Mississippi had been denied the right to a decent education. SNCC opened 41 freedom schools across the state.
When the civil rights workers invaded the state in the summer of 1964 to change us, presumably into their own image, they were met with a feeling of some curiosity, but mostly resentment. They fanned out across the state, made a great to-do of breaking up our customs.
Nobody imported me down here. I belong here. I belong here in Georgia. You haven't heard the same news people say that they imported, the communists had you, and they won't do it.
August 7th, 1964, the funeral of James Chaney in Meridian, Mississippi.
The Mississippi River. The Mississippi River. Well, you can count them one by one. It could be your son. Count them a 2 by 2. It could be me or you. Count them a 3 by 3. Do you wanna see? Count them a 4 by 4.
The state never brought anyone to trial for the murder of the 3 young men. But in federal court, Deputy Cecil Price and 6 others were found guilty of civil rights violations in connection with the killings and received sentences ranging from 3 to 10 years.
Mr. Sergeant at Arms, have you had any contingency plans for this? None at all. I just stand here peacefully, trying to keep this aisle clear.
Down in Mississippi, when they are before the eyes of the world, they are peaceful and loving. And when they get back to Mississippi, it's, nigger, you can't come in here. Nigger, you can't come in there. Nigger, you get out. And here we are in the eyes of the world, seeing the same thing that happens down, way down in the deep South, Mississippi.
The MFDP was never seated at the 1964 convention, but their protest opened up the Democratic Party and changed national politics.